Welcome back to Record Rift, where we rip through history's pages to reveal the moments that changed the world. Today, we're sailing to 19th century China, into the heart of the Opium Wars, a clash that marked the start of China's so-called century of humiliation. Picture a proud empire, the Middle Kingdom, brought to its knees by British gunboats and a devastating drug trade. From 1839 to 1860, these wars reshaped China, opened it to foreign powers, and ignited a legacy of resistance and reform. How did opium become a weapon of empire? Why did China's ancient might crumble so fast? Over the next 20 minutes, we'll uncover the greed, battles, and betrayals of the Opium Wars. Buckle up. This is a tale of empire, addiction, and awakening. Let's dive in. In the early 19th century, Qing Dynasty China was a titan with a 4,000-year history and an economy rivaling Europe's. But beneath its grandeur, cracks were forming. The Qing, ruling since 1644, faced overpopulation, corruption, and rebellions like the White Lotus. Meanwhile, European powers, especially Britain, hungered for China's riches, silk, tea, and porcelain. The British East India Company, flush with profits from India, dominated trade but faced a problem. China wanted silver, not British goods, draining Britain's coffers. The solution? Opium, grown in British India and smuggled into China. By the 1830s, opium addiction gripped millions of Chinese, from peasants to officials, sapping the economy and society. The Qing Emperor Daoguang saw the drug as a moral and economic threat. In 1839, he appointed Commissioner Lin Zexu to crush the trade. Lin confiscated 20,000 chests of opium in Canton, modern Guangzhou, and burned them, enraging British merchants. Britain, claiming free trade and national honor, saw this as a provocation. The Qing, confident in their ancient system, underestimated European military technology, steamships, rifles, and cannons. The stage was set for a collision that would expose China's vulnerabilities and ignite the First Opium War. The First Opium War, 1839 to 1842, was less a war than a one-sided thrashing. Britain, with a modern navy, sent steam-powered warships and 10,000 troops to China's coast. The Qing, relying on outdated junks and matchlock guns, were no match. In 1840, British forces blockaded Canton and seized key ports like Ningbo and Shanghai. Their steamships sailed up the Yangtze River, cutting China's economic lifeline. Battles like Chuenpi in 1841 showcased British firepower. Ironclad ships and artillery decimated Qing defenses. By 1842, with Nanjing under threat, the Qing sued for peace. The Treaty of Nanjing, signed in August 1842, was a humiliation. China ceded Hong Kong to Britain, opened 5 ports, Canton, Shanghai, Ningbo, Amoy, and Fuzhou, to foreign trade, and paid 21 million silver dollars in reparations. The treaty also granted extraterritoriality, letting British citizens in China answer to British, not Chinese, law. The opium trade, though not legalized, continued unabated. The treaty exposed Qing weakness, emboldening other powers like France and the United States to demand similar concessions. For China, it was a star of the unequal treaties, a bitter symbol of lost sovereignty. The First Opium War didn't just open ports. It cracked open China's ancient order. Tension simmered after 1842, as China resisted foreign demands and Britain sought more access. The Second Opium War, 1856 to 1860, erupted over a pretext: the Chinese siege of the Arrow, a British-registered ship, in 1856. Britain, joined by France, saw a chance to expand influence. Allied forces, equipped with advanced weaponry, captured Canton in 1857 and marched north. The Qing, weakened by internal revolts like the Taiping Rebellion, which killed millions, struggled to respond. In 1858, the Treaty of Tianjin forced China to open more ports, allow Christian missionaries, and legalize opium. When Qing officials resisted, Britain and France escalated, sacking Beijing in 1860. The Allied troops looted and burned the Summer Palace, a cultural treasure, in an act of deliberate humiliation. The Convention of Beijing, signed in 1860, cemented foreign dominance. More ports opened, Kowloon was ceded to Britain, and foreign embassies were established in Beijing. Russia, seizing the moment, grabbed vast territories in China's north. The Qing Dynasty, once the Middle Kingdom's proud rulers, was now a pawn in a global game, its authority eroded by gunboats and greed. The Opium Wars unleashed a cascade of consequences. Economically, the open ports flooded China with foreign goods, undermining local industries. Opium addiction worsened, draining silver and destabilizing society. By the 1880s, an estimated 40 million Chinese were addicted. Politically, the Qing lost legitimacy, as peasants and elites alike saw their rulers as weak. The Taiping Rebellion, 1850 to 1864, a quasi-Christian uprising, exploited this discontent, killing 20 to 30 million and further crippling the dynasty. Foreign powers carved out spheres of influence, with Britain, France, Germany, Russia, and Japan claiming trade and territorial rights. The unequal treaties sparked resentment, fueling nationalist movements. Reformers like Kang Yue pushed for modernization, but conservative Qing elites resisted, fearing change. The wars also globalized China's economy, tying it to Western markets, but at the cost of sovereignty. For ordinary Chinese, the wars meant poverty, displacement, and humiliation as foreign soldiers and merchants swaggered through their cities. The century of humiliation, lasting until 1949, began here, a period of foreign domination that would shape China's drive for self-strengthening and later its communist revolution. The Opium Wars marked a turning point, not just for China but for global history. They exposed the gap between traditional empires and industrialized powers, showing how technology and ambition could topple giants. The wars birthed modern China's nationalism, with the humiliation of the unequal treaties fueling movements like the Boxer Rebellion and the 1911 revolution that ended the Qing Dynasty. Mao Zedong's 1949 victory was, in part, a rejection of this era's subjugation. Today, China's rise as a superpower reflected determination to never again be humiliated. The Opium Wars are taught as a cautionary tale, a reminder of vulnerability and resilience. Culturally, they left scars. Hong Kong's return in 1997 was a symbolic reversal of Nanjing's losses. Globally, the wars highlight the dark side of imperialism, where profit trumped morality. The opium trade's legacy lingers in debates over drug policies and colonial reparations. The Opium Wars weren't just battles. They were a wake-up call, forcing China to redefine itself in a world it no longer dominated. That's the gripping saga of the Opium Wars, a story of greed, gunboats, and a nation's awakening. What do you think? Could China have resisted the West, or was its humiliation inevitable? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and tell us what imperial clash you want us to explore next on Record Rift. If this journey through China's past gripped you, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell to join our quest through history. Until next time, keep uncovering the rifts that shape our past. This is Record Rift, signing off.